Good morning, 7th grade. Today's iLearn standard is Computation 7.C.6. Use proportional relationships to solve ratio and percent problems with multiple operations, such as the following: simple interest, tax, markups, markdowns, gratuities, commissions, fees, conversions within and across measurement systems, percent increase and decrease, and percent error. Today's question: Nicole buys a meal in a town that has no sales tax. She tips a certain percentage. Create an equation to model the relationship between the cost of the meal, M, the tip percentage, P, and the total bill, T. Before you begin answering your questions, let's talk a little bit about the testing environment again. The iLearn is a little different than iStep in the past, and it may or may not have a time limit the same as iStep did. So in that case, we need to be respectful to our peers that are still testing. So during a practice session or the actual session, we want to make sure that there's no talking, that we're staying seated, that there are no passes in or out of class, that you're working independently, and that when you are finished, you're not moving on until the time is up. And that may look like just sitting there quietly and waiting for others to finish. You will not be able to get out a book or get out pencil and paper to draw or to color or anything else. So part of why we're practicing this is not only to practice the questions, but also to practice the testing environment. So the time limit may not be as long as you need, or you may feel it's not long enough. And so we are not only practicing just for the questions, like I said, but we're practicing on getting ready for the testing environment. So really work on sitting quietly until the time is up and making sure you're being respectful to those that are still testing. Be sure to write down the question, show all work. You have 10 minutes. You may begin. time is up. Let's take a look at the answer. Nicole buys a meal in a town that has no sales tax. She tips a certain percentage. Create an equation to model the relationship between the cost of the meal, M, the tip percentage, P, and the total bill, T. So an example with the variables, or the equation with the variables, would be the total bill, T, equals the percent of the tip times the total meal, or the cost of the meal, plus the cost of the meal. So T equals P times M plus M. So hypothetically, if we have a meal that costs $25, we would say 20% of the $25 plus the original $25. So 20% of 25 is $5, plus the $25 would be a total bill of $30. And so that's just an example of a meal price and a tip percentage to get the total bill. But if you leave it in terms of variable, this would be a possible equation to be written. The other way it could be would be T equals M plus P times M, because multiplication and addition are commutative, so these could be moved around, but you would definitely have to find the percentage of the meal and then add it back to the original cost of the meal to find what your total bill with tip would be.